Welcome to Real Estate 360, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Mike Ambrosio, will provide you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate, and much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome in. Good afternoon. This is Mike D'Ambrosio with Real Estate 360 Radio. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, this President's Day. Hope you guys are out and about listening. If you're working, great. If not, good for you. We're working in here in studio. We're talking anything and everything real estate, providing you great information and education. We have a great show for you in store today. I'll introduce my guests in just a couple of minutes, but a couple of housekeeping notes here. Just a reminder for those of you just tuning in, there's a couple of different ways you can listen to the show. That is on the radio at KDOW 1220 AM. You can also listen to us live online at kdow.biz. And KDOW also has an app, so log into your app store and download it today. We come to you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. I'm on Mondays, and we're a live show, so we love to hear your suggestions and your phone calls. And if you'd like to chime in, give us a call today at 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220. And call in, and ask questions, give us suggestions on future topics, guests, and content that you desire. We are here for you. Finally, if you miss any shows or want to sign up for updates, visit our website at re360radio.com. And as KDOW also has a Business and Money Expo coming up. It is on April 5th from 10 to 4 p.m. at the Santa Clara Convention Center. Going to be a lot of networking, financial seminars, business workshops, an expo, and the booths will be open all day, so it'll be a really good time. All right, so let's get into what we're going to talk about today. I'm really excited to have this gentleman in studio today, Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate. He is the president and chief operating officer, right, of Equity One. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. So what Mike's going to talk about today is flipping, investing, rehabbing, and more. So, a lot of you may have heard, recently in the past couple of years, people are flipping property, basically finding property that needs a lot of work, putting in some money and some upgrades, and flipping and selling it. So let's get right into it because we got a lot to cover today, Mike. Why don't you maybe give us a little bit of your background and where you've come from and what do you do today and a little bit about the company.
Sure. So I got into the real estate industry through mortgage banking and finance back in 2005. And in 2009, my business partner and I, we saw the big demand on homeowners or buyers who are on the market who wanted to buy homes that were beautiful. They did not want these short sales or REOs.
Right.
That was the opportunity to jump in and use our background of mortgage banking and finance and the money side of aspect of things to acquire all these homes, build them up, fix them, rehab them, and sell them to the market that was demanding them.
Right. So in 2009, you kind of noticed this trend, and I guess it basically followed suit then. And so how did you transition from the mortgage business into real estate, and where did that come from?
Yeah, so we worked with a lot of clients doing short sales, and we saw what they're going through, and also we saw what's going on with the REO market. There was more supply than there was demand.
Right.
So we wanted to create a demand for these REOs, turn them into beautiful properties,
right,
where the current demand would actually go and buy these homes. But at the same time, we saw the aspect where we can be the investor,
right,
buy these homes, rehab them, and make a profit on them as well.
When you guys were seeing, when there was a lot of inventory, as we all know, the buzzwords lately is no inventory. And
yeah,
that's said on this show a lot, not just on my show, but in Joe's shows. And, everyone knows what's going on with the inventory levels. But when you were seeing that with the high inventory levels and you guys were fixing up homes, was there a greater demand for the homes that were fixed up as opposed to the ones that needed work and maybe were a little bit cheaper?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
People love the homes with the new open concept floor plans, upgraded kitchens, new bathrooms, new flooring, paint inside and out throughout.
Turnkey is what they call it.
Exactly. Turnkey properties.
Why don't you talk a little bit about if for those of you that maybe didn't see the blog, Mike is going to be one of the stars on the upcoming show on HGTV, Flip It to Win It. You guys had a pilot episode. When was that? Late last year?
Yeah, last year in April we had a pilot, and the pilot did really well. So we've been filming since last February until now, and we have 13 new episodes set to air on March 4th at 8 p.m.
That's the day before my birthday, so I guess that'll be a good birthday present.
Happy early birthday, Mike.
It better be a good show then. No,
yeah.
So why don't you give a little bit of premise of the show? Like, obviously it's about flipping, but I know there's some teams that are involved in it, and it's kind of a competition, right?
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. There's 6 teams of real estate investors who bid against each other. One of the competitive edges that our team has, Manly and I, is that we are real estate agents. We're realtors, so we really know and understand the markets and the areas. What we do is we go out to the courthouse steps. We bid against 6 other teams of real estate investors. 3 houses are won. 3 are renovated and listed for top dollar. There's a lot of big risks that's involved because these are sight unseen on the inside.
Right.
We only see the exterior of the properties. We run around them as much as we can, do as much research as we can. Even sometimes on the courthouse steps, we're doing the research.
Right.
There's big challenges. There's tight schedules to do them all within 30 days and get them out there on the market and see who sells it for top dollar.
So that's interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people that are listening are wondering to themselves, gee, you're going to spend a couple $100,000 on a house you haven't even seen the interior, So, but basically, how does that work with? I've done the court steps before. You get a list. It's pretty close to when it's going to sell on the courthouse, right? And what do? You just drive around and try to get as much in as possible, or how does that work?
Yeah, you have to pull the title work.
Yeah.
You have to see what type of liens they're on there. So you have to really have a team around it. But definitely, you would have to go out, scout the properties, Google map them, whatever it may be, so you can know as much as you can about the property before going out there and making a bid. For the most part, out there on the courthouse steps, anything goes. The home could be postponed, and you've done a lot of research and really not be able to bid on the property.
Right. Now, I notice sometimes, too, like at the courthouse, there's some houses that a lot of people bid on, and there's some houses that don't, right?
Yes.
And I know, like in the show, there might be a property that 2 groups are hot on and the others aren't. What might be some of the reasoning for that? Just because of their own personal opinion about the neighborhood and what they can do to the house, or what could it be?
Yeah, it could be many different things.
Yeah.
If you're going up against a team who really works the same area, you both know that this area must be the cream of the crop. They must have really good school districts, whatever it may be, that they really want it because they may have a demand themselves. They may already have end buyers for the property as well.
Nice. Well, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to RE360 Radio. You can give us a call at 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. If you got any questions for my guest today, I'm really excited to have him in studio, Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate, also future star of the HGTV show airing in March, Flip It to Win It. And so you're talking listening to Mike D and Mike B. There you go. That's kind of catchy, huh?
Yeah, that'd be a new show.
All right, so let's get into how to invest, rehab, flip. That's really what we're here to talk about today. What is the first step?
First step is financing. You have to get your financing in line. It's like the oxygen to your business, in any business, is finance. So you can go many different routes. Private lending, there's hard money lenders. That's a route that you can go.
Why don't you explain to the audience what hard money is?
So hard money lending is not the institutionalized regular banking that you go into a bank and obtain a loan. You're actually going out there to people who have private equity. It's private money, and they're looking to lend to you at a higher cost because there's higher risks involved.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good. That was a good explanation.
So you Google your area. There's tons of private lenders out there, but just be ready, caution that you have to have 30 to 35% down, and then they'll finance everything else from there up to construction.
Excellent. So the financing obviously is huge, and that's huge in most aspects of real estate. If you're just buying and you know this, obviously, even if you're just buying a normal house, you want to talk to your lender first.
Yeah, definitely.
And figure out really what you can afford and where to get the financing from. So you're offering a different creative way of getting financing, which would be hard money through private. Okay, what about investors?
Investors, there's different routes to work with them too. You can either work with them and help them identify properties, whatever it may be. You can work for them, or you can joint venture with them for a profit share.
So how are you finding these investors?
The investors, if you're already in the real estate industry, you come by them. They're a dime a dozen. But if not, you can go out there. You can always reach out to your friends, your family members, people at work who have money set aside. Here in the Bay Area, in the Silicon Valley, there's a lot of people with a lot of money in their 401ks or their savings that are really not doing anything with it, and it's just sitting there and earning pennies. So they can go out there. If they're a little bit risk adverse, they can go and invest in real estate.
Are you seeing a lot of foreign investors that are I think you work with a good amount of foreign investors. Where are you seeing a lot of the money come from?
They're coming from all sorts of places. I would say for the majority, the most part is coming from Hong Kong, Taiwan, China.
Okay. And what about the other areas? I think there's some Russian coming in.
You do have Russian. You also have Malaysian, Singapore.
Okay.
You're starting to get a lot of Eastern Europe as well.
Right. Okay. Excellent. And then let's talk. We have some notes here, and you got the friends and family fund. So I always like to talk about that a little bit. How does that come into the play?
That's an interesting play because you can pool money together with your friends and family. Just make sure that you set up a LLC. You set up some terms and time frames and exit clauses. All those little things that when you still want them to be your friends and family. If things don't pan out the way they should be, at least there's some type of clauses to work with you.
Right. And I think I had my business partner on last week, Scott, and we were talking about doing a show on setting up an LLC or setting up a partnership, because a lot of people, especially in the Bay Area, when you're talking about buying, a couple $100,000 worth of property and you need 30% down or whatnot, a lot of people don't have that. But if you group together a couple of people and you set it up correctly, you can make anything happen, essentially.
Exactly. It's all about, seeing that opportunity and executing on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just don't know where to get started on that. So I think that can even be a show in itself. So stay tuned, folks, for a show on that. So let's get into the next point. And we only got another minute or two here, and then we'll finish this up on the other side. Is setting up a team. So what do you mean by that? It's
crucial to set up a team. You need inspectors, contractors, electricians, plumbers, real estate agents who know the market or know the area that you're looking to work in, and the areas where you're looking to acquire these homes, rehab, and resell them at the same time.
So now, if we're talking about someone that maybe just wants to do this privately and is not in real estate, they would definitely have to set up a team of people around them to help them do something like that.
Definitely. I would recommend going on Yelp, looking for the best electricians, plumbers, contractors in the area that you're looking to work with. Contact them, see if they're up to working with you on a project.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to finish up on that point on the other side of the break, but we got to take a quick break. You're listening to RE360 Radio on KDOW AM 1220. Check in with us at 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220. If you got any questions for Mike B or Mike D, we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. It's Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio, KDOW AM 1220. We're talking with Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate and the star of one of the stars of HGTV's new show in March, Flip It to Win It. It's going to be a good show. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, give us a call at 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220. We are live today. It is President's Day. We are working. Are you? Are you working? You ready to start investing some real estate? Give us a call. Well, looks like we do have a caller on the line. Rob, are you there?
I sure am.
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
I'm all right. So I just hopped in my car, and I tuned in the station before the break and heard a couple things I had questions about.
Yeah.
And so sorry for my poor quality headset.
No problem.
So talking about some of the things you guys are talking about, it sounds really easy when you're saying what you're saying, like having a few people go in, like I have some money to invest, but going in with people is actually a lot harder than just going out and finding a couple of people, because you got to convince them of the deal, and they got to be kind of in the same mindset. I mean, so my first question is, there's got to be ways to do this that are easier than just walking around trying to find somebody. What would your recommendation be? Like, I've seen some places I would love to invest in, but I don't have enough money for this, like you said, the down payment, 30% or even 25%. And sometimes having hard money is a huge upfront cost. Right.
Well, I that's why I kind of want to do a whole show on this, because that's a whole nother topic. We kind of just threw it out there, and I appreciate your point. It is, it's not as easy as it sounds, as gathering a group of friends like a poker game and just kind of throwing some money in.
Yeah.
And I get that. But that's why I want to do a show on it, because it's whether it's people which for the most part, if there's people and you trust and they have a little bit of money, it's really not that difficult setting up an LLC. And Mike can probably talk to that a little bit.
Yeah,
too.
You just want to make sure the people who you would like to team up with or pull together with, they're sharing the same DNA and the same wavelength when it comes to investments. They have to have the same type of kind of risk and reward. If all their money is currently in stocks and bonds, ETFs, 401ks, whatever it is, if they're getting bored of it and they want something more of a thrill or more of an excitement, and they want to see more reward rather than a savings account, then you can talk to them about, hey, we can make anywhere from 30 to 35% return on our money, cash on cash, twice a year, which can give you, a much higher return if you did a year over year. So as long as they feel the same way as you do when it comes to investing, and you have that trust and that bond, you can definitely set up a friends and family fund together. Otherwise, it would have to go the route of private lending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I guess I'm just a poor salesperson, and so I have to find somebody who can sell the same idea.
Yeah, no, I know it's hard, and that's why, like I said, that's why we kind of want to do a show on it, because whether, it's hard to sell your family or friends if there's other means of meeting people that have the same interests in you. That's why I want to bring an expert in to talk about that, and that's going to be coming up in a couple of months.
Okay, so, just one other point I wanted to make is putting a team up around you is another issue.
Yeah.
It sounds easy, but like just finding a realtor, in my case, has been really difficult. Somebody who I can trust, who will call me back, who responds to the stuff that I'm looking for, is not as easy as it sounds. And I've, tried to contact realtors. But again, there must be some, I wish there was a Yelp for real estate investing realtors, because that would certainly help people like me. And I don't know how to find a good realtor that's kind of the same mindset.
Well, you're talking to two of them right now, number one. So we'd be happy to take your information and get back to you, off air. But as far as real estate Yelp, there's a couple different testimonial websites that you can look at. But really, whether it's me or Mike or whoever you want to work with, I agree. It is hard to find. Every occupation has people in it that might not be suited for the occupation, right? And that's why Mike and I are here giving information, education to help out people like you, and we'd be happy to do that.
All right.
So
appreciate it.
Yeah, they're going to take your information, and we actually have to take a break. But hey, Rob, thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks.
So we're going to have to stop and take a break. You are listening to RE360 Radio on KDOW AM 1220. Check in with us like Rob did at 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220. And we'll get to your questions and answer them on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio, KDOW AM 1220. We're talking live in studio today with Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate. We're talking flipping, investing, all that good stuff. We'd love to hear from you. You got a great question from Rob earlier. And give us a call at 1-800-516-1220. 1-800-516-1220. We're here to help if you have any questions, comments, concerns. You're mad that you're working on President's Day. I don't know. All right, let's get back into it. We kind of finished before we got Rob's call. We were talking a little bit about setting up a team, and I wanted you to go into that a little bit more and maybe explain why it's important to set up a team and what are the team players, I guess you would call them. What are their jobs and how can you utilize them?
Okay. I'd say the most important thing about setting up a team is having realtors, real estate agents, or appraisers in your area or the area that you're wanting to invest in, because they're going to be your source for information on what homes are available, what can be available, what's out there, what's going on in that market. So it makes it easier on you to know and make an educated decision. At our office at Equity One, EQ1, we have 10 agents who are all investment specialists, agents working on flips, rehabs, investments like that.
Right. So what about contractors? Because I know a lot of guys that flip properties are sometimes contractors. Yep. But if you're not a contractor and you do want to flip property or you're thinking about doing that, how important is a contractor?
A contractor is vital to your business because a good contractor will tell you everything up front with no change orders in between. And if there's anything that does happen, they can minimize it for you. So it's good to team up with a contractor that has some subcontractors, or their team is wide enough to be able to do electrician work, plumbing, HVAC, etc.
Right. So you would suggest getting a contractor that can maybe sub out other jobs rather than you managing like all the other subs.
Yeah, you want a general contractor or a contractor that knows the whole full circle of everything. You want them to come in, take a look at it, tell you exactly what you need to do. You can tell them your vision on the property, and they'll give you a bid specifically towards that with minimal change orders.
Anything else about building a team that might be important?
Having inspectors that you can call on, just having good people around you in terms of electricians, plumbers, real estate agents, that's huge for you, because they're going to really tell you what the market is. And if you've never flipped before, you want to know as much as you can about a certain area, and real estate agents definitely provide that to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge because it's a multitude of things. It's number one, getting the best price for the property you can, because they know the market, they know what the condition the property's in. Therefore, you hopefully be able to get the best price possible.
Exactly.
As well as the resale value, which is where you really make the money, and knowing what a house is going to sell for in the future when you fix it up, right?
Yeah, the after repair market value.
Yeah, no, that's huge, and that's not easy for an everyday person or someone that's not doing real estate every day to figure out. You can't just figure that out by Zillow and other online websites.
Those will only give you a little bit of market awareness.
Right.
But to really get down to the grassroots of what's going on in a certain neighborhood or community, a real estate agent who's working that area is going to be able to provide you that information.
Right.
Otherwise, those websites, they just give you a general synopsis.
Yeah, because most of the time they're basing value off of square footage for the most part.
Yeah.
Maybe a few other deciding factors, bed, baths, but mostly square footage. And so it's important to have realtors that know what's going on with the properties around the area, especially in an area like Silicon Valley that has a lot of upgrades and renovations done to different houses. That realtors that know the local market and what it's going to go up against, and what its future price is going to be, right?
Exactly. It could be, just a minor difference of a school district or a school, and that can be $100,000 over what you're anticipating to sell if you're in a certain area.
Definitely, especially in some of the areas we know have good schools. So.
Yeah, Evergreen. You have Willow Glen, Buxton Elementary, Cupertino.
Yeah. Well, we got to take a break. That was a quick segment. We got a good segment coming up. A lot of information still to cover. If you're listening to RE360 Radio, give us a call if you have any questions. 1-800-516-1220. 1-800-516-1220. It's Mike D and Mike B on RE360 Radio, AM 1220.
Welcome back to Real Estate 360. Streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio, KDOW AM 1220. We're talking live in studio today with Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate. We're talking flipping houses. And Mike is going to be on a TV show, Flip It to Win It, coming up on HGTV, debuting on March 4th, the day before my birthday. So don't forget about that. All right, so let's get back into it. We've talked a lot about how to flip houses, how to do financing, what type of team to put around you. So let's go out and now let's talk about going out and actually finding these houses, because that's the most important part, right?
Most important and most difficult part, especially with inventory.
Yeah, so talk about that. I mean, how are you guys? I know a lot of, with the MLS, talk about the MLS first. Is that really a good place for people that want to flip houses?
It used to be a good place for those to take a look and see what's on the market, but it's really drying up. Anything that's on the MLS is already overpriced,
right?
Or it's priced at market value. Even if it is a property that you can come in and rehab, it's already listed at a price that if you go in, the margins are so slim, it's not worth it to do.
Right. For those of you that don't know what the MLS is, I forgot to say, it's the multiple listing service. It is the network of properties that agents and realtors and people with DRE licenses use to put their properties on the market.
Yep.
And therefore exposing them to, I think, about 20,000 agents in the area. So that is what the MLS is when you hear us talk about that.
Yeah, and that's where all the information gets syndicated to your Trulias, Redfin, Zillows.
Correct. So MLS, no good anymore for flipping properties. It is good for finding houses, but okay, then how are you guys doing it?
You got to think outside of the box. We have a huge network of wholesalers, other investors, and sellers who are looking to buy. We've created a technology platform where they import all this data to us and our investors, we're able to scrub through, make decisions, and acquire the properties all off market. So in today's market, in order to flip or invest, you have to really think outside of the box. We will be promoting that project later out to the open market, to other investors, real estate agents, and so on and so forth. But right now, it's an internal portal that we're working with.
That's great. What other ways? I mean, for the everyday, average Joe that maybe lives in a neighborhood, how could he go about doing it?
Oh, it's quite easy. If you live in a neighborhood, and let's say, for example, you're in a court, and there's 10 homes.
Yeah.
There's one home that's a complete eyesore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't see much activity there. You go and you ask the neighbors who lives there, what's going on with it. It could be that somebody passed away and they gave the property down to their grandchildren, and their grandchildren just haven't had time to go out there. But if you go ahead and reach out to the grandchildren now, they may more than likely be wanting to sell the property because they're not doing anything with it for a while already.
Right.
And that's how you identify that property.
So basically just keeping an eye out and if you're walking around your neighborhood and you see a house that might, looks like no one's living there or might need some
abandoned
help.
Or anything.
Abandoned, yeah. No, that's interesting. And
that's one of the ways. You can always go and door knock for properties.
Right.
You can go around asking people, are you looking to sell anytime soon?
Yeah.
The statistics are there. Whenever one house goes up on the market, there can be another 3 that are following.
Right.
So if you see any neighborhoods that have a house on the market, you can go door knock and ask people if they're looking to sell. They're probably going to benchmark on the one who's going to sell when it's sold. They're going to want to sell within that price range. But if you get to them beforehand, and if they need upgrades, they may be willing to sell it to you for a lower price.
Right.
And there's your margin. There's your possibility to flip.
Okay. So, as far as finding, let's talk about a little bit about when you do, meet someone or you meet someone that's looking to sell their house, or maybe they want to have you ever had one where they want to partner with you on it? Possibly
all the time. A lot of homeowners, they would love to do upgrades to their home, but they just don't have the financial capacity to do so.
Right.
But be very leery, beware, because if you go in and you don't have proper contracts set up in place, and you remodel their home for them, and what if they don't want to sell anymore? You could lose your tail on that.
Right. Do we got a caller, Kevin? We'll take the caller on the air right now. Hello?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Actually, I need some, I'm looking into doing some, home flipping and stuff like that. I need to talk to you guys. Maybe you can give me some more information on this information for just flippings and...
Sure. Did you have a question in mind right now?
So Mr. Bowie, he's into financing, right? Or is he actually doing the flippings?
He's doing the flipping, but he could set you up with people that do financing, or we have the guy that runs the show, RE360, is your finance guy too, Joe Kachera.
Exactly.
Okay, and is it possible for me to get the number from Mike Bowie? I already got your number.
Yeah, definitely. We'll take your information off air, and we'd be happy to help you out.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for calling.
Sure.
Yeah, so if you're listening in today and you've thought about investing, or you want to maybe get into flipping, feel free to call myself or Mike, and we can be happy to help you out. I think this kind of strikes a chord with a lot of people because they want to maybe do it, but they just don't know how to get started. You know what I mean? And I think it's great. I'm glad you came on today because
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of people are interested in this, and that's why maybe in the future we could have you back on to talk a little bit more about how to establish maybe an LLC or a team. I'm going to probably have my business partner back on to talk about getting that set up to maybe flip property.
Sure, I'd love to. All these points that we're hitting on, these are just the beginning.
Right.
There's a lot of integral parts on each and every one of them. Just working with private lending, how do you work with private lenders in terms to where they don't charge too many points up front?
Yeah.
And how do you get them to compete with one another to get a lower interest rate and then extend your term instead of 3 months, 4 months, or 6 months without any penalties? So this is just the beginning. There's a lot more that we can get into.
Are you seeing any bridge financing in flipping, or?
No, there's not a lot of those. Not a lot of private lenders who's willing to take a second on there.
Okay.
If anything, at most they would do a construction loan.
Right.
But that's tied directly to construction.
Right. Great. Well, we got to take a quick break, and we're going to wrap up everything on the other side of the break. You're listening to RE360 Radio on AM 1220. I'm live in studio today with Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate Flipper. Give us a call if you have any questions, 1-800-516-1220, 1-800-516-1220, and we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Real Estate 360, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RE360Radio.com. That's RE360Radio.com. Again, your host for today's edition of RE360 Radio, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back. It's Mike D'Ambrosio on RE360 Radio on AM 1220 KDOW. We're talking live in studio today with Mike Bowie from Equity One Real Estate. I think we've gotten some really good content out there, and really, we're talking about flipping houses, and you are one of the experts in the area that are doing it, and I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike.
You're welcome. So let's kind of wrap up what we were talking about today, and we'll talk a little bit about the show. So you wanted to kind of give a couple of points on what to look out for when you're flipping property.
There's a couple things. If a deal sounds like it's too good to be true, it definitely is. Yeah. And look out for anything that's partial remodels, because if another investor or another developer contractor is giving up on a deal and they're putting it on the open market, be very leery, because there could be some substantial issues with the property. That's why they're giving it up. And if they ran out of money, then that's a different story. But otherwise, if it's too good to be true, it almost always is. One of the main things to take away is make friends with everyone. Network as much as you can with neighbors, friends. You never know if anybody can identify a property for you.
Right.
And you can always, give them a gift or something out of it.
Yeah, there you go. And I think that, that rings true in life in general, is if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly.
So that's a good point. Let's talk a little bit about the show, and then we'll give your information out. So HGTV, Flip It to Win It's the name of the show, premiering March 4th. Day before my birthday, which is more important than the show maybe, but that's remained to be seen. No, I'm just kidding. So why don't you talk a little bit about the show, the premise, who's in it, that type of stuff.
Yeah, the show is really, really exciting. It's just like this show that you have here, Mike D. It's very educational at the same time. It shows us auctioning and winning a property, going into it for the very first time, And we basically build it from the ground up. We say exactly what we're going to do, and then we get our contractors in there to do the work. But at the same time, there's challenges, there's a lot of risks, there's a lot of things that can happen within a 30-day remodel. Or when you go in and you open up a wall and there is, just tons of water damage, or all your wiring's gone or stripped out.
The other groups in the show are from around here too, right?
Oh yeah. This it's exciting because everyone is from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So we all compete with one another, but at the same time, we see each other at the courthouse steps. We see each other when we go and bid. So it can become, quite a bit of competition. And, we have quite a bit of competition in this area within these groups.
So each episode, you guys are competing to make the most money, like the most net on a property, right?
Actually, the competition is going to auction and winning at auction.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you win at auction, they'll film the 3 houses that are won from cradle to the grave, from the beginning to the end of the reveal.
Okay.
And then you sell it, and you hope to get the most money as possible for your group or your investment group.
That's going to be great. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Why don't you give out your information in case people wanted to get in touch with you?
Sure. My name is Mike Bowie. My phone number is 408-807-0792.
One more time.
408-807-0792. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Flip It to Win It, Team Mike and Manley. And my email is mike@equity1realestate.com, all spelled out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Mike, for having me.
Definitely. All right, so let's do the question of the week. What is the date of the premiere of HGTV's Flip It to Win It that we've been talking about all day? So you can call in or email me during the week, mike@re360radio.com, mike@re360radio.com with your answer, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win a free pizza from our sponsors, Giorgio's and Frankie Giant Luigi's. So anyways, it's Mike B and Mike D signing out for the day. Thanks for listening in. Have a great week, everybody. Happy President's Day.
You've been listening to Real Estate 360 on AM 1220 KDOW. For more information on today's program, visit RE360radio.com. That's RE360radio.com. AM 1220 KDOW.